I'm just gonna give you guys a few moments to kind of get in. I'm gonna make sure I have my laptop open to the conversation so I can see you guys chatting. And here we go. Okay, so I hope you guys are ready for another live session where we're going to sort of use the skills we've learned over the past couple of weeks and create something. I know Valentine's Day is coming up soon, so I figured we could sort of get into the spirit of hearts based on what we've learned. So just to recap, this past week we did the filler florals. So if you didn't catch that video, you should definitely check it out. We're gonna get some of that in today. We're also going to do, I put out another video this week, 2 of them, and that was with the little flowers right here. So again, these can also be filler flowers. So in this series, like the whole point of this is simple strokes that create something beautiful, especially when you're mixing watercolor, and in the hopes that, you know, you practice, and then one day you're just like, I feel like painting, and then you just sit there and you start doing what your hand, like muscle memory, remembers, and then all of a sudden you have a composition of your own. I can see people are saying highs. I'm gonna get to the highs really quickly. Last Sunday we did this, and I think a lot of people really liked it. So we're gonna go with the same trend that we're learning, which is like creating loose florals, but also soft and dreamy, and kind of anxious for today because of the heart. But yeah, let me quickly see what people are saying in the comments before we continue. Hi Tammy, hi Patty, hi Ginger, hi Madeline, hi Carol. I'm glad you're excited. I am excited too. Patty, oh my gosh, you practiced all week. Good. So that means you didn't bake any bread today, did you? Hi Jill. Hi Deborah. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are really enjoying this. I know it's basic series, but I find it fun going back to basics, and also kind of honing in on, you know, what colors do I get when I mix different things, and, you know, what if I touch this and what if I do that, and it's like repetition, it's simple strokes, right? Hey Chris, thank you. Hi Wendy, hey Linda, hi Pamela. Got your messages from this morning. Hi Susan, Teresa. Hi Janet. Thank you Shana. Tammy, best way to tag me on my work, it depends. Are you using, if you're using Instagram, then you can just either tag me on the image itself or in the comment, or sorry, yeah, well, the description, or if it's on Facebook, you can just tag my Facebook page as well. Or if you were comfortable with just sending me a DM as opposed to posting your work online, like, I'm totally game for that too. Most of you, if you post in your stories, I like to reshare just to show people like what you guys are learning, because it kind of really excites me to see that you guys are picking up what I'm putting out there. So it's exciting. Hi B, welcome. Hope your weather is well there, better than ours. Hi Sandra. Oh, Sandra, it's first time seeing me. I hope I didn't disappoint. Hi Lydia. Thanks Patty. Hi Alva. All right, okay, I'm going to start, otherwise I'll be saying hi for quite a bit of time. I'm a little bit anxious about colors today because I didn't really pre-plan what colors we're gonna use. In the past few videos we've been using a lot of the carmine mixed with the cadmium medium red, and I kind of really like that combination, so I think we can go with that. And I even like the whole like turkey blue indigo mixed with the green, when we're getting like that nice cerulean style hues, almost grays. So I think we'll stick with that. So there's going to be a little bit of basic drawing involved for today. Feel free to do that, or you know what, if you want to just do a circle, absolutely. If you're feeling like a heart is too challenging for you to get it even. But remember, the whole point of this is it's a loose style of painting. You need to have fun. As long as it looks like a heart and you're splashing some beautiful color around and you're happy with it, that's all that matters. Okay, so I want to put that forefront out there. So let me see if anyone had any questions before I turn the camera over. Cindy, you're sweet. Oh yes, B, I know it's like I thought I saw something about it snowing in London like a week ago. I guess it's still snowing. Wow. Yeah. All right. Okay. So I'm going to flip it over and we're going to start. All right. So here we are. I'm going to run by my supplies really quickly and then we can start. So I am keeping a pencil handy because we're going to do a heart. I am going to be using my mop brush for our big bloom. So we're going to do one of these, or yeah, I think we'll do one of these, and then we're going to branch out and do the filler ones. And for those, we're going to be using the Silver Black Velvet 4 and my Escoda Perla in the 2. And you know what, just in case I need another brush, I'm going to keep the Princeton Neptune handy. This is in the number 8. So I'm going to keep all of that aside. For my colors, I am going to be using my tried and true St. Petersburg. I have the golden. This is green. This is greenish, yellowish green. This is my Carmine. And this right here is the azure or the indigo. I'm not quite sure, but it's like one of those turkey blues. And this is what's going to give me that nice hue that we have over here instead of going for the typical green. And yeah, we can kind of mix and match. So we'll kind of go along and see. All right, what else? I have my water, I have my palette, and we are good to begin. So first things first, let's do a quick basic sketch of the heart. Mine might not be entirely, what's the word I'm looking for? Wow, the word is evading me right now. It might not be completely even, but we're gonna go give it a go anyways and see what happens. So I'm just gonna do this heart. I don't want to make it too big to encompass the whole sheet of paper. Oh, by the way, I'm using my Canson watercolor paper. This is not the 100% cotton. This is just the basic ones that you get, labeled watercolor, the blue cover. And if any of you have any questions about the products I'm using, there are links below, so feel free to check that out, and you can either purchase them off the affiliate Amazon links that I have, or feel free to just grab the name and buy it from your favorite art store. So, okay, so here's my heart. I want to leave as much white space around because if I want to make this a wall hanging or something, it's nice to kind of have more white space happening, and then just your area with color on the inside. So we're gonna try and encompass into this and see how we get along. So to begin, we're gonna start off with the big blooms. So in and plan where we have the blooms. I don't want to put it right in the center. That's too cliche in my opinion, too symmetrical. So I'm gonna put it off to the side, and then we'll do 3 smaller ones, and then we'll do the fillers. And then it's pretty much like doing leaves and giving this some good flow. So feel free to have your placement as you prefer. You don't have to copy me. So I'm going to start off with the mop brush, and I am just dipping it to get damp. And I am going to mix my Carmine. I can see there's some talk about choppy video. I hope it isn't too choppy. So I'm noticing quite a few of you are saying that it's buffering for you. I'm not really seeing a disconnect on my end here, so I'm not quite sure. Can someone indicate and say when it's getting better, or is it, I don't know if I should like disconnect and start again or what I should do at this point. Let me just see. It's better now? Okay. All right, so then I won't do anything. All right, so I'm just mixing some of the color onto my palette just so I have this ready. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, because I'm going to use that for the pink, I'm just going to get some of my, I'm going to use the number 8. Whoops. Thanks guys for letting me know it's good now. I'm going to get some of my golden, which is right here. And I just want to mix a bit of that onto the side. And I like these bright colors. We're going to try and get them to be muted like we've been doing in the past few weeks, classes. And I just want to have some color on here so then we can kind of have something to dip and go by. This is the Azure Indigo Blue. And I'm gonna leave this for my flower colors, and I'm gonna pull this on here so you can see me mix some of my blues. And you can see it's like a very grayish Payne's gray. I think if you have Payne's gray, like you can use that. And I like to use them for the leaves, like maybe dip in some of the green and mix it with the blue. Yeah, works well. I'm gonna get some of the green as well and just put that onto the side. I know I pre-mixed some lighter green on here, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna put this on here so I have that available if we need it. And I think we're good to go for now. Yes. So I'm gonna start off by doing our big bloom. So just like we did in the previous tutorial, we're gonna do loose strokes, and we want a very light amount of light amount of color in the water, and we're using our luscious mop brush to do this. So first thing I want to do is create this floral. This time I'm gonna have it facing this way, so I'm just turning my paper ever so slightly, and I am going to press down and do the inner portion of the floral, which is like a cup. So pressing down, notice my whole brush is down that way, and then I'm just dragging off. Next thing I do is just dip the tip of my brush in water, and I'm creating another stroke. And then I'm dipping the tip again in water, creating another stroke off to the side. And you don't want them exactly touching. Try and leave white space in between as best as you can. And then finally, I'm gonna do like an arc shape almost this way to kind of give it that last petal that's like on the curve, like folding over. And now once this is done, I'm just gonna take my number 4. I'm gonna move all these brushes from here before they soil my my thing. I'm gonna take the color directly from my cake here, and I want to just create a couple of lines while this area is still damp, and just on the inside of this area right here. And I want to see that run of color, that blend, which is like pretty. And then if you want, you can even add a couple of touches on the actual petals themselves. That kind of adds something nice. But if you want to keep it simple, absolutely just keep it simple. And I'm pushing all the color from this petal here. If you have anything pooling like me, just pushing it off to the center so it dries off with that nice glow happening. And so you have that nice pretty feature there. And then lastly, I'm just going to go back in with this brush, dipping the tip in water. I'm just adding a couple of strokes, light ones, to kind of just make the flower look slightly fuller, although it doesn't really need anything. Okay, so we have that. And then what we want to do is take advantage of the fact that it's still damp. And so while it's still damp, I'm going to go in for some of the blue that I had mixed. And I am going to start doing a couple of leaves. And I want to touch the areas where it's damp. So like I just did this stroke right here. So I'm going to do a leaf, pull down. And you see that nice blend that you get. That's what I want. And I want to make my leaves, like, give them some direction. So like do one here, maybe like it extending to the edge. And then another stroke here to close that off. And just taper the tip of that leaf. And you have that nice blend again, which I am looking for, guys. And then I'm going to do another leaf over here. And again, you can dip the tip of the brush in water. This is what gives you that nice soft blend and gives the whole thing like a two-tone look almost. And then finally I'll do some over here. And literally I just want to do it there just so I can get that nice blend of pink. And then also obviously you're getting some nice movement happening over here, so that's also a good thing. So I'm just going to extend this and make it like an incomplete stem that's just protruding from there, getting a little bit more of my color. And I'm going to continue and do one more leaf. And then just one kind of whoop to the side. And then I just did that over here, mainly because I wanted more of the pink extending out. So make sure you have these areas damp. And one trick, if everything has dried up, and say you wanted to get this effect, but everything has dried up, here's a cheat idea. Just kind of go in an area where you're able to do one of these strokes and it makes sense. And so you can just kind of have one happen, let's say for the sake of an example, let's do one there. But I want it to be slightly more damp, so I'm just going to do that. And now I'm going to go back in with this and just kind of make a leaf right there. And so you see how it blends in. So that's my cheat way of doing things. So if you've missed out on that boat, that's what you do. All right, so we're moving on. We're gonna let this dry properly and then we can intensify the center some more. So the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna mix a little bit of the orange that we have, which is the golden, in with what we have on here. So just where it meets right here, that's what I'm going to do right here. And now using this very same brush, we're going to go in and create smaller florals. Now, some of you who are not able to, like, this always gives me massively huge florals because I tend to sometimes overwork them. But if you're able to manage it, I say go for it, otherwise switch to a smaller brush. So I'm going to do one floral right here. And we're doing this pretty much the same way, but a lot simpler than this one. Pressing down. And then I'm actually going to go in and get some of the orange directly from there. Very tiny bit on the tip. And then I'm adding another stroke here. And then one more on this side. And so this is going to be a super simple floral, like just 3 of them, and we'll do some in the back. This didn't quite mix the way I wanted it to, so I'm just going to add a little bit more of the pink, just like that here. So I'm just pressing down. And it's given me that nice hue, which is not bad, but I did want it to be slightly different pink hue compared to this. So I'm going to take my number 4, I've washed off the color, I've taken off most of the water from it, and I'm just going to push some of the color down because I want it to be lighter. Just like that. And then using the same brush, I'm just getting a very tiny bit of the pink. And I want to create almost like a background of petals. So I'm just doing a very light rendition of what could pass for petals. And just off to the side here. And pushing all the color down to the center, okay? That is always, always something you should do. All right, so now that we've had that, we can kind of go in and add some of our leaves again. I'm going to use the number 2 for this one, and I will use the same blue that we have. I'm just going to add a stroke here, and then another one here to kind of have the lower part of the green, or the lower part of the floral happening. And then I'm just going to alternate between getting some green and some of the blue, so I get a little bit of a variation of colors in the leaves. And I'm gonna get a, let's do one over here this way. So you can see this is a lot greener, right? So pressing down, trailing off. I'm gonna get some of the tip in water, pressing down, trailing off. Simple as that. Again, dipping the tip in water, pressing down, trailing off. So now we got a little bit of that green happening there. And then you can always like dip some of the blue in and give it that nice two-tone green floating into blue sort of look if you wish. I'm getting some more. I'm going to do a couple more happening over on this end. And pressing down, trailing off, pressing down, trailing off. I'm just going to do a light one here. And then because we are to the edge, you can always fill the edges off with the leaves, giving it some shape. Just pressing down and then trailing off and doing a light one here. So at this point, it's all about like filling in to get that shape of the, whatchamacallit, the heart. So done that, I think this is good enough. We got some of the flowing ones. We can do one more floral because I said we'll do a couple of the lighter, smaller ones. So we're going to do one more over on this end here. And let's have it facing probably just upward. It doesn't have to be sideways or anything. So I'm just going to do exactly like how we do the leaves. We're just pressing down this way, trailing off, dipping the tip in water, press down, trailing off. I'm going to do this 5 times. 2. Remember, white space in between, guys. 3. 4, That's a lot of pooling. This is where the paper towel comes in handy. And just get a little bit more of your pink. Pressing down, trailing off, and always pushing all the color down to the center. Okay. And anything that's pooling, you can just kind of take off. So I'm just getting off some of the color and then redoing these just to kind of give it a little more oomph. All right, and now pushing all the color to the center. And you can just take some off. That's good enough. Just a little bit more here. Okay. And now we're going to go in and get some darker pink for the centers. Actually, instead of the pink, I'm going to get the golden. And I'm just going to add a couple of strokes here. And see if this kind of blends in a bit. And you can actually help it blend if it's not doing too much. And then just let it dry. And then I'm going in with my number 2 Escoda, and I will get some of my blues again that I have to the side, and we're going to get a couple of more of these leaves happening. So we can have some that are a lot tinier, but let's get the basic ones done and then we can focus on a different style of leaf. But again, this is something to do that's very basic, but also gives you an opportunity to practice what we've been learning over the past few weeks. So it doesn't have to be super complicated to make something pretty. So feel free to stick with the basics that we've been learning, which is just the leaves, a couple of strokes, using some beautiful color, mixing in some of the green to get like a nice blend of different colors. Doesn't have to be rocket science, guys. So I just did one stroke there to give me direction. Put half my leaf down and then I'm putting the other half down. And then I'll just do one off to the side this way. And then one with the blue, I'm just gonna have it this way here. And there we go. So we've got our 3. And so now that we have like our main big florals, we can kind of go into doing the filler flowers that we learned this past week. So I'm going to put down my mop brush. We're not going to be using that. We're going to be dominantly using the number 4 and number 2. So let's use the green that I have to the side here. You can use the blue if you wish. I'm just going to use the green to lay down my stems and then kind of go in with the number 4 and get like some brighter colors. And I think for that we're going to use, let's use some of the orange that we have happening, which is the golden. And let's see how that looks. It's going to have to be muted though, so let's give it a shot and see what happens. Trying to keep it simple without being too complicated with too many colors. So I'm here I'm putting down my stem, and I'm just going to give it an extension here and then possibly one here, and just like trailing off, doesn't go anywhere. And now I'm going to go in with the number 4. And I am going to start off with getting some of this pre-mixed golden that I have on here. And I'm just going to add a couple of strokes. And they look like buds. Dipping the tip in water, getting a little bit more color. I'm just going to add A couple more here and there. So we want to add them sporadically, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in with the pink and add. So now I'm getting a little bit of the pink. Now I'm going to add some of that color touching some of the orange, because I want the blend. All right, and just keep putting it in areas that have some of the orange to get that nice blend. And now we're going to just wash off all the color from our number 4. Tap it on the paper towel, and then we're just going to add a couple of strokes here and there. And this is mainly to kind of have this blend, like the water kind of, you're adding water on here, and it's essentially doing the work in terms of blending and creating this soft, very loose filler kind of floral. All right, so this is the whole idea there. And then what I also like to do is just go back in with some of the green or the blue, whichever one you've used, and just enhancing some of the stem areas, because this is where it also starts blending next level while it is damp. And then finally, you can even go in with a slightly darker version of these colors, just using the tip of the brush, and you're just adding a couple of areas to enhance the certain areas that are slightly darker. Some are really light and blending nicely. And then you just kind of leave it at that. And so you do a couple of that. So same method like I did previously. We're going to go in and get some of the green. Where's my green at? Oh, here. Mixing a little bit more green onto the side. And let's do one over on this end, I guess coming from the top. Let's do something like that, as if it's like coming from outside in. And then starting off with, what color is this that I have here? Oh yes, the red. So getting some of the pink first. Carmine pink, red. And then I'm going to go in and get some of the orange. And I'm just adding it, deliberately adding it near the red so that it kind of gets in some blending and mixing. And then finally washing off the color, and with just water on my brush, I'm just going to add a couple of dots. Well, not dots, but like dabs of water to kind of really give it a soft look. It's the water, when you add the water after you've added your strokes, that's what gives it a soft, dreamy kind of look and feel, which is what we've been doing a lot lately. I don't like that I can see the green so much. I wish it blended in a bit more, but then there's a way to fix that. Like, you can always go back in, get some darker pinks and just kind of maybe add it in. And that kind of does a job a little bit. Or like I did previously, just go back in and add more greenery, like once you've laid down the color and it's still damp, so then it kind of flows with everything really well. And then yeah, just leave it at that. I'm just going to give it a little bit of orange as well. Here and there. And then it kind of looks like it's like extending. So we have one here, we have one there. Let's do one more, and then it's pretty much we're just doing leaves or maybe any of those tiny small florals that we just did on Saturday. That would be part 4. So this time, you know what? Instead of doing the green first, let's do the florals first. So I'm going to get some of the pink. Let's do it on... let's do it here. Okay, that was too big a stroke, but I'm going to do it like coming downward. And then I'm going to get some of that orange. And I'm just going to add a couple of strokes here and there near the pink. Perfect. And then I'm going to go in with the green. So the number 2 has my green. And I am going to extend and add, oops, too much pooling. Add lines or stems for these. And this is like extremely soft and light because there wasn't any green prior. And I'm adding the green right now, and so it is just blending in immediately with the color that we have, which is kind of like a nice effect. I'm going to get some of the pink again and directly from the pot itself, and I'm just going to add it in certain areas that are damp in hopes that it's going to like blend in nicely. This whole style of fillers is pretty much that whole concept of adding dabs of color, going in with water, introducing a different color to kind of blend it in, then getting a thicker consistency and going back in and adding some strokes to get some nice light and dark happening in there. So hope you guys had fun with that tutorial when this came out, which was Thursday. And yep, I'm going to leave it at that. So let's just leave it at that. So now we have 3 of this, 3 of that. We're good to go. I think it's looking quite nice. So at this stage we can do some very, very light florals. And you know what? Let's make, and by florals I mean, you remember which ones that we just did on Saturday. So I'm going to take some of the, yeah, I think I'll take some of the, what color should I use, guys? Like, should I use the blue or should I use the green? I'm kind of wondering. We just want a couple of them here and there. It doesn't have to be overpowering. We already have quite a bit of pink. We have quite a bit of orangey happening. You know what? Let me mix some of the golden and see what I get. Blue? Okay, so I'm getting lots of blues, and I was thinking of doing blue, guys, but like, don't you think this would be too much? Okay, you know what? Let's do blue. So, where is it? I have it right here. Okay, I'm gonna mix a little bit more of it. I didn't want it to match too much to the leaves, but I think we can cheat a little and add in some of the like a turkey kind of, no, you know what, this might be a little bit too bright for this. So I just put in a little bit of that turquoise looking blue. I'm gonna go back, put a little bit more of the darker ones, the azure, and I still have this dark shade. So let's try and see what happens. Okay, so for those of you who missed Saturday's video, here's what we're doing. We're going to create the same motion to create a petal like we would a leaf. And then every alternating one, we're going to kind of use another brush so that the color seeps out and blends in. So let's start, and the thing is this has to be small. So let's start off by doing one over on this end. So 1, 2 strokes, 1, 2 strokes, and then I'm going to go in with this brush, which is just water, and I've taken off most of the water. I'm going to do 1, 2 strokes, 1, 2. You can just do as many strokes as you want, really, or petals. And as you're adding the water down, it's kind of seeping in and giving you that nice blended look and feel. And just make sure you push all the color down to the center, or just leave it as is if you like how the blend is happening. Now ideally I want to leave some white space in between, so let's try and do that for the second round that we do here. So I'm going to create one happening right here, 1, 2. I'm leaving white space. See, I want these florals to be a lot tinier than how they're turning out to be. But c'est la vie. So now I'm adding in the strokes with just water. And see how it immediately like pulls in with the blue from the sides and just gives you that nice pretty effect. I'm gonna do some right here. You can pretend like some petals are like peeking from behind, and always pushing the color down to the center, or where your petal would be in the center, right? I'm gonna do one over here. So 1, 2 petals, 3, and then going in with this brush, getting water. I'm just creating some strokes here to kind of have the color moving and blending. Should have done some here too. I just want it to be blended and soft. Now I'm just going to go in with this and take some more of that blue, and I'm going to drop it in the center because I want it to flare. Same here. So obviously the reason it's flaring is because it's still damp. So you got to make sure that you put this in as soon as like before your flower dries up. And I'm just kind of dabbing away so that I get a nice dark center. It gives me a nice monochromatic hue or transition. All right, just like that. I'll just do one more here, super light, almost like in the background. And just, this looks like a little bit empty over here, so just adding some strokes here and adding the center. All right, there we go. And now we can go in and do some leaves and stuff like that that just kind of enhance around this area. But before we do that, let's do these florals in a couple of other areas. This is like a really kind of not your traditional heart, eh? Kind of liking the coolness to it. Okay, let's do some here. So 1 stroke, 2 strokes to create our... So now I'm using the number 2 to create these flowers, or adding the darker strokes for it. So pressing down once, twice, 3 times. I'm pushing all the color to the center. Then I'll go with this one in, and I'm going to add a couple more petals. I'm no longer doing the alternating version of it because I just want these to be quick. So you can also do them this way and you can get a similar effect. Just make sure you're pushing the color down. But also notice these are a lot more stark compared to how flowy these ones are, like in between. So if you really, really like that whole blending look and feel, I would suggest doing the alternating look. So leave your white space in between and you're just kind of creating these petals. And then you're getting a darker hue for the center and you're just dabbing away. Same thing here. And then I'm just going to add some lighter ones happening so that they don't look like they just abruptly end. But there's some peeking from the back, from the side, then some here. And I'll just do a last one here. And then just, where's my paper towel here? Just taking off some of the excess puddling happening. Or you can just push it down. See, but now it's a blob. It's okay. Let's leave it as is. So we have it in two areas. Let's do a couple just off to the side, because like I like to say all the time, I like to do things in threes. Or maybe just over here, actually. You know what? Yeah, let's do it here. So we're just doing a couple here. Pushing down the color to the center. And just like loose strokes to kind of get them in. And then getting some of the darker blue for the blending of the center here. Getting some more color to get some more blue petals. And then I'll just do one right here, and I think we should end it at this. Instead of doing any more of these florals, just do a petal hint from there and here. So it looks like there's more of them in the back and they're just kind of giving, filling the area. All right, that's that. I'll just add, so it looks like there's one over there. Perfect, leave it at that. And so now the only thing that's left to do is adding some leaves, and the leaves can give your whole thing some motion. Oh, adding the leaves and then also doing a little bit extra for these centers so that they really pop, just like how these blue ones are popping. So for the leaves, I really like to use these ones, number 2, these ones, my number 2 Escoda. So I'm going to use the Perla for it. And I see that we have not a lot of the greens, so let's do some of the greens. And we're doing exactly like what we've been learning in the past, in the first video for our basic series. So I'm going to give it a stem. You don't even have to give it a stem. You could just literally just do petals. Sorry, not petals, leaves. So I'm adding some of the green and I'm going to mix it in with some of that blue to get like a darker maybe hue, because I don't like that bright green. Maybe it's me, but just adding one stroke, second stroke. You guys know how the leaves are done. Then let's add a couple, because we don't want to make it seem like we're only filling it off to the side in the areas that are empty. So we're going to add some here And the areas where it's tight in space, just feel free to like make it light, make it super simple, a stroke, like one stroke, that's it. And then let it go. You know, or like I'm adding a stroke here, pushing all the color down, one stroke, and like that's a leaf. Another stroke, and that's a leaf. That's it. And you can do the same thing like we've been doing for the florals. Like one can be a darker shade and then go in with another brush and then lighten it up a bit. Or take some of the green and then some of the blue side by side so you have a nice blend. It's entirely up to you guys. So I'm going to add some here. Right there. I just want these hints of green so that it unifies and ties the whole thing together and actually looks like it's part of the family. Pushing all the color down to where the leaves are starting from. Just blending some of that blue that we have with the green just to get another variation. And let's have this one stemming from up here. My hand is shaking a bit. Okay, so one stroke, two strokes. Pushing all the way down. Getting some more, and let's do some flowing up from these guys over here. There we go, and I think that worked out perfectly here. And that blend is quite nice. I'll do some over here. Maybe just like popping out this way. And then pushing all the color down to the bottom. Oops, got caught on my... And so now I think it's just these areas that are left, and then we're like good to go, guys. I think we're pretty much near done. I think if we just did something like that, so it's like coming out from the side inward, and then just one over here. And then I'm just going to do like longer ones like we had over here happening. And then, yeah, I think we can leave it at that. Let's do the centers really quickly. I'm going to use the blue because it's a nice dark blue, and I'm going to use my number 2 to kind of add some center to this. And then I'm going to read your comments to see what you guys thought. So be ready, I am coming. So I'm just adding a couple of lines on this side, and then on this side here I'm just adding a couple of dots because you shouldn't really be seeing the lines as prominent as that one. And then the same thing here. You see how nice and dark it is, even though it is the blue we are using. Yeah, and I think that's that. And so some of you might like splatters, and so you know what, like you could actually do a splatter in the green or the blue if you wished, or you could just leave this soft and pretty as is. I feel like we've got some nice dark happening over here. And so if we use the same dark to kind of do just a couple of little dots that kind of maybe look like berries, but they're not really attached to anything, that might really work nicely. So I'm just gonna do some of that really quickly. And I'm trying to leave like white space in between if I can. I'm doing them in sort of threes in some areas. Do some here. And let's do some right there. Just dipping the tip of my brush in water, and I'm just gonna do some over here too. And we're nearly done. Just adding some of these around the areas where we have our blue florals too, because, you know, they could work as buds from these florals or not necessarily. And so we have a couple around, just some over here might even things out. All right, I think that is it. I think this is good enough. We are not going to do anything else to this. We can just erase it and we have our nice heart. So, all right, now I'm going to switch it back to my face so we can have a chat. All right, so I'm going to read everyone's comments and respond. So if you had any questions or if you have any questions, now's your time and I will respond to you. So let me see. I'm glad, it seems like there's a lot of positive comments about it. I'm glad you guys liked it. Oh, if you do, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. I think someone had a question about my brush. I am using my Escoda is the Perla #2. I've always heard amazing things about Escoda, and the Perla is what I could afford, so I purchased it and I really like it. So I think I might definitely be getting like a #6 or something in it. This is a lot of comments. Symmetrical. I like that you guys were trying to help me with the word that I couldn't find. Yes, symmetrical is the word. Hi, Barbara. Okay, this is where the stuff went choppy. Patty, Melissa's your daughter, right? I'm sure that's who you're referring to. Okay, everyone's stuff started working again. I missed the start by 30 minutes. We'll watch again. Yes, Lisa, you should totally catch it again. Thankfully, it posts and, you know, you're able to watch the whole thing as if we were doing this again. Thanks, Patty. I have quite a bit of a nail polish collection. I don't know if it's like amazing because I don't have a lot of glitter and I would like to have more. Okay, you guys are just conversing at this point. Okay. Hi, Diane. I see Diane came. I don't know if she's still here. Melissa, yes, you know what? A warm burgundy would have been nice, but I wanted to keep the colors simple. So next time, although it was at the back of my mind, I should have mixed the green with the red, and that would have given us like a really nice purple for sure. Sorry, not purple. Yeah, it could have given us a purple, like a darker, yeah. Thanks, Leslie. Okay, so I think a couple of people. Hi, Damaris from Florida. Thanks, Artie. Oh, hey, Brittany. Brittany, you showed up. I thought you were at Sunday school. Oh, you were you were at Sunday school because you were at Sunday school and watching me paint. Yeah, you should definitely try it later. Carol, I think you have a question. If I put a lot of tube paint into a section of my palette, will it be dry and usable the next day and not just pop off? Well, but if it's watercolor, you should be able to just reactivate it by adding water. It might pop off, and by pop off I mean like this is my Daniel Smith cake that I had taken from the tube and dried it on this palette, and so it comes off, like, but you put water in it and then you're able to like mix it and have it functioning again for you. I hope I answered your question. Hi, Nick, who just found my channel. Thank you for subscribing and liking. Patty, I thought I do have it on my supply. Oh, you know what? I don't have it listed on my supply page as yet. I will have it listed. Right now, it's only in the description of all the videos. I have to update the website, guys. Marilyn, thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you like this. Oh, Melissa's your cousin, Patty. Got it. Carol, it crunches into pieces. Oh, why don't you send me an image of what this looks like in DM over Instagram or Facebook, Carol, so I know exactly what's happening. And then also maybe just let me know what kind of colors you're using. Hi, Dee Dee. I'm so glad. Welcome. You're welcome, Cindy. Thank you, Sheila. Right now, it is riddled with split ends because I haven't cut my hair in over a year because we're in lockdown. But, you know, I'm trying to make do. You're welcome, Tammy. All right, guys. So I think everyone's pretty good. I'm going to end this on this note. Thanks so much for joining and watching. If you like the video, like I said, try and share it in your circles. It really does help my channel grow. Subscribe, and if you have any questions, feel free to engage. Send me a DM, Facebook, Instagram. I love hearing from you guys. Love seeing what you did, what ideas you come up with. I get emails as well, which I absolutely love. So yeah, certain brand. Oh, Lillian's asking me, do I prefer a certain brand of watercolor? Lillian, my go-to is St. Petersburg White Knights, and it's one of the first expensive watercolors that I purchased, and it seems to be my go-to for all my videos. So a couple of people on here have purchased it as well, and they love it. So I don't know. I think Cindy was one. Patty, I can't remember if you purchased the St. Petersburg, but I think they can totally let you guys, like, let you know, Lillian, that St. Petersburg is legit. And yep, that is it. Okay, guys. All right. So have a lovely Sunday with your families, and we will meet again next Sunday. In the meantime, I hope I have given you something to sort of practice and think about for Valentine's Day. If you're making your own cards or if you're giving certain presents in the mail or something like that, I hope this is inspiration. All right, guys, have a lovely Sunday. Bye.